1. Imagine your birthday party, the one you've been waiting for all year. Balloons, cake, presents, the whole shebang. Now, picture this, you turn the magical age of 25, but instead of singing happy birthday, your friends suddenly grab you. They carry you outside, tie you tightly to a chair, and then, whoosh! A cloud of brown dust fills the air as they pelt you with handfuls and handfuls of cinnamon. That's a real tradition in Denmark for unmarried folks reaching their silver jubilee. It's their quirky way of teasing you about not having tied the knot yet. It might smell nice, but imagine getting all that spice in your hair and clothes. It's definitely a birthday celebration you wouldn't easily forget, even if you wanted to. Talk about a spicy milestone. 2. Now, let's think about creepy crawlies. You see a scorpion, maybe in a picture or even scurrying across the ground. Most of us would probably run the other way, right? But in Pakistan, there's a practice that sounds like something out of a strange story. Some people actually catch these scorpions, crush them into a fine powder, and then mix that powder with tobacco or hashish. They then smoke this concoction. Can you imagine? They say the effects of smoking crushed scorpion can last for a really long time, like almost half a day, around 10 whole hours. It's a practice that sounds incredibly unusual and probably not very healthy, but it's a real thing that some people do. It makes you wonder what it must feel like and why anyone would ever think of doing that in the first place. 3. Think about your hands for a moment. Wiggle your fingers. They help you write, draw, play games, and do so many important things every single day. Now, imagine something so sad happening that you felt you needed to show your sadness in a very, very big way. In Papua New Guinea, there's a tradition where, when someone in the family passes away, the close family members sometimes cut off their own fingers as a sign of mourning and grief. It's a permanent way to show the depth of their sorrow and loss. It's a custom that might seem shocking to us, but for them, it's a powerful expression of love and remembrance for the person they've lost. It makes you think about all the different ways people around the world show their feelings when someone they love is gone. 4. Have you ever visited a farm and seen a cow being milked? It's a gentle process to get the yummy milk we drink. But in Ethiopia, there's a tribe called the Suri who have a very different belief about how to get more milk from their cows. They believe that to encourage the cow to produce more milk, you actually have to do something quite strange. They believe you must eat a part of the cow's vagina and also caress its udders. This is part of their traditional practices related to their livestock and their way of life. It's a custom that is very different from how we usually think about farm animals and the process of getting food from them. It highlights how different cultures can have very different beliefs and practices. 5. Imagine someone you loved very much who is no longer with you. How do you remember them? Maybe you look at photos, tell stories, or visit their resting place. Now, picture this, in a tribe in Indonesia, they have a very unique and hands-on way of remembering their loved ones. Once a year, they actually dig up the bodies of their dead relatives. They carefully take them out, give them new clothes, clean them up, and then have a celebration to honor their lives. It's like a big family reunion, but with their ancestors. It might sound unusual, but it's their way of keeping their connection with those who have passed and showing that they are still remembered and loved. It's a powerful reminder that death doesn't always mean goodbye in every culture. 6. Deep in India, in a place called Chhattisgarh, there's a group of people called the Ramnami tribe. They have an incredible and unwavering devotion to their Lord Ram. For over 100 years, this entire community has shown their love and loyalty in a very permanent way. They have tattooed the name Ram all over their bodies. Imagine having every inch of your skin covered in the name of someone you deeply believe in. It's a testament to their selfless faith and a tradition that has been passed down through generations. It's like they carry their hearts on their sleeves, quite literally, showing their devotion to the world through their very being. It's a powerful example of how deeply faith can be ingrained in a community's identity. 7. Hold on tight, because this one is quite a story. In the Sambia tribe of Papua New Guinea, when a boy turns the age of 7, he enters a very different world. He is separated from all females in the community because they believe that women can somehow be dangerous to men. Then, for the next 10 years, these young boys are supposed to consume the semen of older men as part of a rite of passage. It's believed that this practice helps them transition from boyhood to manhood and makes them strong warriors. The young boys have to receive this semen either through oral means or by swallowing the ejaculations of older males. They believe that the more sperm they ingest, the better warriors they will become. This is a very specific and unusual tradition that marks a significant stage in the lives of the boys in this tribe. It's a practice that is very different from how many other cultures view the journey to manhood. 8. Think about getting a tiny little earring. It's a small piercing, right? Now, imagine piercing your cheeks, your tongue, and even other parts of your body with really sharp objects. That's what some religious people do in Thailand during the Phuket Vegetarian Festival. It might look incredibly painful, but they do it because they believe it helps them purify themselves and honor their gods. It's a way to show their devotion and their willingness to endure pain for their beliefs. It's a powerful display of faith and a tradition that draws many onlookers who are both amazed and perhaps a little bit shocked by the practice. 9. Have you ever had a water balloon fight? It's messy and fun, right? Now, imagine a food fight, but instead of water balloons, everyone is throwing tomatoes. In Spain, they have a huge festival called La Tomatina where thousands of people gather in a town and just throw ripe, squishy tomatoes at each other for hours. It's a massive, red, pulpy chaos, all in the name of fun and celebration. It's a chance to let loose, get messy, and just enjoy the craziness of it all. It's definitely a unique way to have a party. 10. Imagine a game where the boys try to impress the girls with their looks and charm. In the Wotabi tribe, there's a special ceremony where the men put on a spectacular show to try and win the attention of the women during a festival called Jockey. The men spend hours putting on elaborate makeup, often with bright red faces and striking black lips. They have specific beauty standards, like being able to roll their eyes while grinning at the same time. They also prefer men with light skin, thin lips, long jaws, and white eyes. During this festival, some women might even leave their first husbands to be with the man who impresses them, and in some cases, they might even have two husbands at the same time. It's a fascinating tradition where romance and beauty standards play out in a very unique way. 11. Think about putting on gloves to keep your hands warm. Now, imagine those gloves being filled with venomous bullet ants. These ants have one of the most painful stings in the insect world. In Brazil, young men actually wear these gloves as a test of their strength and masculinity. They have to endure the intense pain as a way to prove how tough they are. It's a very extreme way to show courage and manhood, and definitely not something most people would ever consider doing. 12. Long ago in China, there was a practice that seems very strange to us now. They believed that tiny feet on young girls were a sign of beauty and high social status. So, they would tightly bind the feet of young girls to prevent them from growing normally. This practice, called foot binding, aimed to achieve what they called lotus feet. It must have been incredibly painful and made it very difficult for the girls to walk. Thankfully, this practice was banned in the early 20th century, but it's a reminder of how beauty standards can be very different and sometimes even harmful in different cultures and times. 13. Before a wedding, we usually think of happy celebrations and maybe a few nerves. But in Scotland, they used to have a pre-wedding ritual called blackening that sounds anything but pleasant. They would actually pelt the bride and groom with all sorts of messy and smelly things like rotten food, ashes, and flour. The idea behind this messy tradition was that if the couple could withstand this unpleasant experience, they would be better prepared for the hardships of marriage. It was like a tough initiation into married life. 14. For an incredibly long time, about 2,000 years, the people of Igorot Sagada in the Philippines have had a very unique way of burying their dead. They would place the bodies of their loved ones into compact hanging coffins and then nail these coffins onto the sides of cliffs. Imagine seeing rows of wooden coffins suspended high up on a rocky mountainside. It's a fascinating and somewhat eerie tradition that reflects their beliefs and connection to the natural world. 15. In Japan, there was a very intense and rare practice where some Buddhist monks would try to embalm themselves while they were still alive. They would go through a very strict and slow process of starving themselves and meditating for years, all in an attempt to reach enlightenment in this lifetime. It was an incredibly difficult and rare feat, and those who succeeded were highly revered. It shows the extreme dedication some people have had in their spiritual pursuits. 16. In Madagascar, families have a very special way of honoring their ancestors. Instead of just visiting a grave, they actually exhume the bodies of their relatives, rewrap their remains in fresh shrouds, and then dance with them as part of a celebration. It's a way to keep their connection with their ancestors alive and to celebrate their lives. It might seem unusual, but it's a vibrant and important tradition for them. 17. There's another fascinating tradition in Papua New Guinea where a tribe has a special way of honoring their past leaders. They carefully mummify the bodies of their past chiefs and then place them on a special altar. It's a way to preserve their memory and to continue to look to them for guidance and inspiration. 18. In Myanmar and Thailand, there's a striking tradition among the Kayan women. They wear brass rings around their necks, starting from a young age. Over time, they add more rings, which gives the appearance of lengthening their necks. They consider this elongated neck to be a sign of beauty and a strong part of their cultural identity and pride. 19. When a very young child from the Toraja tribe in Indonesia passes away before they even get their first teeth, they have a very touching and unique way of laying them to rest. They find a growing tree near their village and drill a hole big enough to place the baby inside in a fetal position, wrapped in cloth. Then, they seal the hole with bamboo logs. Over time, the tree continues to grow, seemingly embracing the child within. It's a beautiful and symbolic way to return the child to nature. 20. In India, across West Bengal and Tripura, they celebrate a Hindu festival called Gajan. A key symbol of this festival is a very tall pole. During the celebrations, some devotees are actually suspended from this pole using iron hooks that are pierced through their skin. This is seen as a symbolic sacrifice to Lord Shiva, showing their deep faith and devotion. It's a powerful and visually striking tradition. 21. Deep in the Amazon rainforest, the Yanomami people have a very unique way of remembering their deceased relatives. They actually eat the ashes of their loved ones. They believe that by doing so, they keep the spirits of the departed alive within them, maintaining a connection even after death. 22. Imagine having a family member who has passed away still living in your house, not in memory, but physically present. In the Toraja region of Sulawesi, Indonesia, it's not unusual for families to live with the bodies of their dead relatives for years after they die. They believe that the person isn't truly gone until a water buffalo has been sacrificed at their funeral to serve as their vehicle to the afterlife. During this time, the bodies are treated with a preservative called formalin to prevent decomposition. They are regularly washed, clothed, and even given food and cigarettes twice a day. They even have a designated bowl in the room to serve as a toilet for the deceased. It's a very different way of viewing death and maintaining a connection with loved ones. 23. If living with a deceased family member sounds surprising, then get ready for this. The Chewa tribe of Malawi has a funeral practice that is quite shocking. They actually slice the throat of the dead person, pour water into the opening, and then cut another outlet in the stomach to collect the same water. This water is then incredibly used to cook meals during the funeral ceremony. It's a custom that is very different from how most cultures handle the deceased and prepare for funerals. 24. Think about wearing a stylish earring or maybe even a lip ring. Now, imagine wearing a large pottery or wooden disc in your lower lip. Among the Mursi, Chai, Suri, and Tarma groups in Africa, this is a traditional practice for women. To someone from the outside, it might look like a form of body modification, but for them, it's an important expression of female maturity and beauty. The process usually begins when a girl is around 16 years old, done by her mother or another relative. They make a cut in the lower lip and insert a wooden plug until it heals. Then, they gradually replace it with larger and larger plates, sometimes reaching sizes of 10 to 15 centimeters in diameter. It's a significant part of their cultural identity and a visual marker of womanhood. 25. High up in the mountains of Tibet, the traditional burial practices are quite different from what many people are used to. Instead of burying the deceased in the ground, they practice what is known as sky burials. This involves placing the body of the deceased on a mountaintop, where it is left exposed to the elements and scavenging birds, like vultures. This practice is deeply rooted in their Buddhist beliefs, where the body is seen as just a temporary vessel, and offering it to nature and wildlife is considered a way of returning the deceased to the cycle of life and even as an act of generosity. 26. Imagine living your whole life on the water, moving from place to place in boats. The Biao people, also known as sea nomads, are an indigenous group who have traditionally lived this way in the waters of Southeast Asia. They have incredible adaptations to their marine lifestyle and a deep connection to the ocean. 27. In Spain, during a festival called El Calacho, there's a rather unusual and daring tradition. Men dressed as devils actually jump over babies who are lying on mattresses. This might sound dangerous, but it's believed to be a way to cleanse the babies of any sins and protect them from evil spirits as they start their lives. It's a unique and perhaps nerve-wracking tradition for the parents involved. 28. Look at this powerful image of a tribal chief named Eli Mabel holding the preserved body of his ancestor, Agad Mamit Mabel. This ancestor was a tribal chief who ruled a remote village in Papua about 250 years ago. His body was carefully embalmed and preserved using smoke and animal oils, a traditional method to honor and remember important figures in their history. Holding this ancient body is like holding a piece of their past and a connection to their heritage.